Hey ladies and gentlemen, what's up? How's it going? You know that song, you know the sound. It's the weekend and it's time for the James Freel Show. I am your host, James Freel, and as always, I am happy to have you with me. I had an eventful week this week, and my hope is that turns over into being a relatively entertaining podcast. Whether or not it will is yet to be seen. If my view count and my subscriber count after I don't think I've missed a week in like 7 months. If that's any indication, it probably won't be. That's just the way it is. Darn it, I was doing so well without the uhs. I wish someone out there would record, or like just keep track of how many uhs I do. That's an issue for 2018, James. That's something I was always talking about then. There was a moment there where I was trying to... Oh, jeez, my voice cracked. Embarrassing. There was a moment there where that was like a big priority for me. But anyway, I digress. It was an eventful week for the news also this week, if I recall correctly. I think that's more of a pop culture thing. What's the top news story this week? You know, I think we all know what the big thing is. But I don't know whether that should go under top story or in pop culture. But I mean, pop culture's always been what it is. So I'll go ahead and just use it as the Jussie Smollett thing. Let's see. Basically, I wish I would have written something out for this, but the guy, it turns out, it's all the buzz this week, because it's looking. The evidence would suggest that he staged this entire hate crime thing. That he had paid people to attack him because he was dissatisfied with his salary. And I gotta say, my initial reaction was to feel sympathy for this guy, because I mean, we all have that fantasy in our heads where we wind up being someone who overcomes, or you know, we all are a little narcissistic, and I don't want to judge, but you gotta imagine actors are especially narcissistic. Could be wrong, could be proven, but it seems to be the case. It seems like anyway, like I said, my initial reaction was to feel sympathy for him because you know, I've had fantasies in my head like that, but I never would follow through with it and actually go through doing it. But then I heard apparently this might not be true, but it sounds like he was happy when 2 people were arrested until he found out that they were the people that he had hired. And if I understand that correctly, that means that he was totally willing and happy to testify against 2 innocent people. And if that is true, I'm not saying it is, but if it's true, then he has no sympathy from me, because that's messed up. If you're willing to send people to jail over a hate crime that they didn't commit knowingly, yeah. If that's not the case, then yeah, I mean, and even if that is not the case, my level of sympathy for him is kind of minimal, but it's there. You know, I'd say he pretty much deserves most of the crap he's getting today. And, you know, wasting all the police resources like that, it does seem like, I think anyone who wastes police resources like that, no matter what, probably deserves some level of jail time. I don't know if 3 years is necessary. Maybe 6 months. I think that'd be fair. Because, I mean, it was a pretty egregious crime. I think the worst part about it, like I said, is if he was actually willing to testify against two innocent people that he knew did nothing wrong. I guess that's not really a legal thing. That's more of just a moral thing. I don't know. I mean, James, everyone's already talked about this, so let's move on. In sports, something happened this week. Let's see, Duke, Nike. Yeah, Zion in sports. Zion Williamson injury and loss to UNC shows Duke is not without flaw. It looks like one of those dudes. The whole world was watching. The next great thing was set to take the court in front of thousands of Cameron crazy. Former President Barack Obama came. All were waiting for one teenager, one mythical being named Zion Williamson, to prove his status as a top draw not only in college basketball but also most likely in June's NBA draft. The legend of Williamson had been developing for years, from highlight dunks in empty high school gyms to rejected three-point shots that landed in the third row to basketballs deflated with the strength of his hand. I'm trying to find what happened where his shoe happened. Yeah, I haven't really been... Man, that'd be pretty cool to be that good at a sport. You see, shoe broken. Good word choice there. Nike concerned after Duke Zion Williamson's rips through shoe injures knee. I think he came back in the game though, so it sounds like he's not injured that bad. But yeah, his shoe ripped, and that's got to be a bad look for Nike. I mean, hey, your old brand's out there and think you spent all that money for that PR. Maybe you did, maybe the guy voluntarily. You gotta think that there's money involved when it comes to deciding that kind of thing. I want to watch a movie tonight, and I'm thinking of picking one that I haven't seen before, but how do you pick the right one? Why don't we finish News for the Uninformed first before you hop onto that tangent of a line that I'm sure many people will find extremely interesting. Top news in pop culture. Top trending news in pop culture. Hida faces backlash. Steve Irwin. I want to see if this actually was a story or if it was just Twitter. Yeah, it looks like it is. PETA faces backlash after criticizing Steve Irwin on his birthday. Animal charity PETA is... Okay, yeah, I read that. The crocodile hunter and TV conservationist who died after being attacked by a ray he was filming in 2006 was remembered on Friday in the form of a comic book-style Google Doodle celebrating his legacy, but attracted the ire of animal rights activist PETA, who said the doodle sent a dangerous, fawning message. They tweeted out, "Steve Irwin was killed while harassing a ray. He dangled his baby while feeding a crocodile and wrestled wild animals who were minding their own business. Today's Google Doodle sends a dangerous, fawning message. Wild animals are entitled to be left alone in their natural habitats." Yeah, I think that was Bill Maher who made this statement. Like, if you're if you're doing something to an animal and it results in in it killing you, you probably shouldn't have been doing that. And I see the point. I mean, I see the argument. I may not necessarily agree with it. The thing is, I do think that one human life is infinitely more valuable than any animal. And I don't actually think that may not be relevant in this context, but I digress. So that was your news for the uninformed this week. Moving on to the rambling section that the show has grown accustomed to. So this past week, I started it was the second week of my new position, and it was kind of fun because I had to drive all the way from Cincinnati, and I live on the further west side of it. I don't want to give away more of my location. I'm pretty sure I've already explained that. But I've gone from there and I had to drive all the way to Marietta, Ohio, there and back in one day. And I will say driving that far is a bit exhausting, but at the same time, I'm getting paid to do it. And I mean, if I'm getting paid to listen to music and podcasts in the car, I mean, I'm not complaining. Plus, I'm still only supposed to do like an hour of work per week, so yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, that's right. I'm not supposed to do more than 8 hours in a day, and that includes travel. So, I mean, it's overtime, so hey, I'll take it. I guess that, the thing is, I only worked for about, I'd say like 2 hours when I was there, and add in the about 7 hours of travel time total. So yeah, you get like an hour overtime. It's not bad. I showed up around noon, and I got to meet people who were out on that side, because the people I work for cover the whole state of Ohio. So that was my travel then. Then on Tuesday, I got to have a free meal with my boss. Wednesday, I think that was the day I was back with, I went back with the dude I work for on the east side. He's like my mentor. Thursday I just had to stay home and do all of these little training videos. And I gotta say, I think my favorite stereotypical English accent, not meaning like an English accent, but an accent of someone speaking English, is the Dutch one. I just really enjoy the cadence to the Dutch accent when speaking English. I got the company I work for is based out of there, so many of the videos of work safety and lab safety and electrical safety and interference and all that is all done by a guy with a heavy Dutch accent. And I gotta say, it does kind of upset me that I studied a bunch of this stuff for 2 years, like just under 2 years, and the fact that I studied it and I didn't finish it. I guess they're only happy that I have a bachelor's degree, even though it's not in the field. I think I've explained before, I went back to community college, but I dropped out when this opportunity arose. These classes just barely touch the surface, and it seems like they only want you to have a surface level knowledge, unless they assume that you already know it, and that they're just it's a refresher for you. I don't know. But then on Friday, I got to go to the Ohio State University, and it was definitely on enemy territory, because I think many of you do know, if any of you listen to me regularly, that I am an alum of the University of Cincinnati, and UC, that's what I call, I know UC in other countries is considered, not countries, but other areas, that's the University of California. UC is kind of like the disgruntled younger brother of Ohio State. It always did, really. I am one of those people who says you gotta pick one. I mean, you can be friendly with the other people. Like, I don't have an issue with someone who calls themselves a UC fan, but it's like, oh, I'm happy for Ohio State. I don't mind that. But when you wear both, if you go to UC and are a sports fan, and then wear the shirts that's like, we bleed scarlet and gray. It's like, just, you got to pick one with your enthusiasm. And I know I'm a massive hypocrite, because when it comes to professional football, I got two teams that I enthusiastically root for. But isn't that the appeal to college football, that it's got the more authentic, more grassroots? I don't know if that's the right word to it. I think college football, I mean, it comes across as more snooty and more authentic. So we're gonna do that. We might as well make it. I'm making college football live up to the standard that it creates itself when I talk like that. So yeah, you can call me out for hypocrisy, and it's likely warranted. But hey, you win some, you lose some. Okay. Yeah. Hey James, isn't that like the third time you've said that? And probably the 20th. Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. All right. Moving on. Oh boy. So yeah, I was saying, I was at Ohio State University on Friday, and let's just say that there's one thing they do have on UC, and that is the name for their student ID. Because student ID at UC was they just took their mascot, Bearcat, and called it the card, and just said, oh, it's the Bearcat card. You can't really do much with it. Ohio State, they call their ID the Buck ID, because you combined the ID with Buckeye. Yeah, instead of Buckeye ID, it's Buck ID. And I thought, alright, you know what, Ohio State? I don't care for you that much, but I will say that was a pretty clever. I guess it wasn't that clever. It writes itself. But you gotta call it out for it. That doesn't make the final product any less compelling. So hey, do with that what you will. It's another one of my go-to lines that I say when I have nothing else to say. Alright, so I'm trying to get this one dude on my... I shouldn't talk about it unless it actually happens. Cat's out of the bag already, but yeah, we'll leave it at that. Ohio State was kind of cool. I got to work with this guy, and over the phone he sounded very arrogant. And when I heard that, I thought, oh, this guy is going to be a joy to work with. But then I sat and I thought to myself, this guy he may come across as really arrogant, but I bet he can make you better. I bet he can, because it's like, work is like tennis. When you're playing with someone who's really good, it's going to force you to try to play better. I think that's what everyone who has a winning attitude. If someone's doing really well, you want to compete with them. So it's basically what happened. I learned more from him than most of my assigned mentors, just because he was very hands-on, told me what to do. He sort of let me drive. He let me make some decisions on some methods on how we're going to do things. And it was a lot of the kind of work that I was used to and that I really, really enjoy doing. This is probably my favorite day of work. I will say, the drive to Columbus, well, obviously it was pretty long, and I made it longer myself. Instead of just going straight home, I decided, you know what, I want to stop by Jungle Gyms. I don't know if you're from the Cincinnati area. It's this international grocery store. It's just got a huge selection of everything. Indian food, like India food, Middle Eastern food, a lot of Asian stuff, a lot of European stuff, every kind of rice you could ever think of. And they got two of them, and they got a great selection. I actually got a cigar, and I'm not a heavy cigar smoker, but part of me wants to kind of take a break from them for a while. I've only had about probably 5 or 6 in my life, And I'm trying to appreciate them, but I've learned you don't want to smoke one right before you go to bed. Even if you brush your teeth, you cannot get that taste out of your mouth. And I think the taste, well, I don't know. I don't know. Plus, what it does to your teeth. You see these guys who are in these smoke shops who've probably been smoking at least 2 a day for the past 20 years. And their teeth are just beyond yellow. Yeah, I don't know, cigar. Yeah, I'm a big fan. And plus, I mean, I don't know if it's worth the risk. I don't know. I don't know. I'm really, this one's really going off the rails, isn't it? It's, not really about anything. It's just sort of me sitting here. I mean, that's sort of what this show has turned into. It's just my video journal that I happen to make public for reasons that are not quite clear. Oh, come on, it's obvious. You listen to all these podcasts and you think they're good and you want to emulate them. You want your opinions to be listened to. So you do this every week in the hopes that while not putting much effort into it, especially the past 3-4 months, it still nonetheless will somehow get picked up. I guess the only thing this show really has going for it is how resilient. Well, look at me using big words like that, trying to. Oh, I know what I should have made the top story. It was that woman who was in ISIS is wanting to come back. That should have been the top story, and then Jussie Smollett should have been pop culture. Even though I went on a huge rant about that, I don't know if I'm gonna touch the whole thing of a. I don't think there are actually very many people who think she should. At the same time, I do understand the argument that it is dangerous for a government to have the ability to strip someone of their citizenship. But at the same time, I think it's dangerous for the government to let. No, I don't know. I just said I wouldn't touch it, and then look at me. I'm going right into talking about it in great detail. So look how big of a hypocrite I am. Story kind of depresses me because it's just so polarizing. Everything is so polarized. I don't know if that's now or if it's always been like this. Maybe it has. I'm doing this in the morning, by the way. I woke up this morning and my legs were sore from sitting down all day, just from driving for so long. And I've been a lazy sack of crap lately. Like I have not worked out, done a full three workout week since I started this job. I worked out twice the week before, and it's not that I'm not motivated, it's that I don't know, there are times at work where like, oh, I can't wait to go home and work out, and then I get home, and it's not that I'm tired, it's like opportunity cost, because I've been working longer days, but the next week it's got to start. This ends next week, so at least they say so. No, I don't have an option. I got to, because I'm gonna start really packing them on if I don't take care of this soon. So that's that. That is that, James. Very, very enlightening of you to say. So how about them? I don't know what's going on in sports right now. Because we're in that weird time where I don't want to follow the AAFL. I'm not going to follow it just because I don't want to get football fatigue. I'd rather get into. See, there's just other sports out there that I just don't take as seriously. I wish I did. I like hockey when it gets to the playoffs, but I'm not into it enough to enjoy it when the games aren't as consequential. And it's more fun to root against something. Let's see how the UC Bearcats have been doing lately. So they lost to Houston. They beat they were supposed to. So tomorrow they're playing Connecticut. I might watch that. And then Houston, March, April. They should make. They're gonna make it in the tournament. It looks like, and really, that's the thing, is just getting there for March Madness. Let's see, they're 22-4. Yeah, they lost to Houston. Darn it. Who did Houston lose to? I guess they're the better team. It is what it is. They lost to Temple. Is Temple even that good? Or is that... The thing about basketball is you can just get those fluke games. Anyway. Man, basketball, that's really a different, because, you know, college basketball doesn't really have series the way professional does. But, hey, you know, it'd be Wichita State. That's Houston. Sorry, I was trying to look at Cincinnati. Beat Memphis. Yeah, they lost. That's a bummer that they lost to Houston. Do they play them again before the season starts? Yes, they do. All right, I gotta make a note. All right. Remind me on March 11th that
Okay, just tell me what you want to be reminded about.
Tomorrow UC plays Houston.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Yeah, I'd like to watch that game. That might be and it's at. I wonder if potentially going to that game. It's at Cincinnati. Let's see if there are prices for it. They're probably gonna lose, but it looks. I don't know. It looks like it could be close enough. Let's see. Yeah, I am not now. Cincinnati, Natty Bearcats, Houston. Yeah, the show's just turned into UC basket. Alright, you know, remember that time you had a computer and you didn't have to worry about it? Because I also dislike Houston. Cincinnati versus Houston basketball tickets. Okay, here we go. Wait, what time is it? When is it? It's got Cincinnati Sunday. Oh, it's Sunday. Oh, no. Okay. Remind me March 9th that UC plays Houston tomorrow.
Okay,
Alright, I gotta fix. So, standing room only, geez, $36. Ah, geez, these are expensive. The crap seats are really expensive. Geez, $300. I never think college basketball was that great. But I guess, yeah, geez. I don't like basketball enough to... Maybe if I went, I would start liking it, but yeah, I'd be really far away for $60. Let me see the view. Yeah, that stadium looks nice. I don't think I've been in there before, and it's been redone. Yeah, it looks a lot better. It really does. I think I'd be better off just watching it on television, though. I'm sure it'll be on if it's that big of a game. I don't know. I think it'll be a good time to... We'll see. Alright. Did I really just rant about possibly buying tickets for the last 3 minutes? Not even talk about what I did this week? I think I did. But as long as I can keep on putting a new number up, and, yeah. As long as I can maintain my ability to say, oh, I've never missed a week. About halfway to a year, a little over halfway to a year. It feels like it's been longer than that. I guess that's weird. Like, time works in the opposite ways you want it to. You want long times to feel short, and short times to feel long. But no, you want those things. Alright, sorry about this one, folks. This may be the worst one I ever did. But, hey, we will press forward. I guess it's a good reason to make an outline for it. Maybe I should get back into that. No, should you, James? We'll see. Alright, if you did, thanks for listening. Take care.